Actually, this museum was recently opened only on October 29th, and it has 5 sections, and now only 1 section is open to the audience. So it covers a long history of collections. We will try to walk you through the history and get a close look at its collections of antiquities. And let's see what kind of destruction has been brought to these antiquities by the war.
From CGTN across all platforms, from Facebook, Twitter, and Weibo and the app. But basically, we'll talk in Chinese, so please bear with us. Thank you. 所以说呢，我们现在呢就要从这个狮子开始看了。
So today, let's get started. Now you can see a lion in front of us. So in 2004 and 2009, the ISIS attacked the Bamiyan, where this lion was situated. Only last year, the lion was restored. Now let's get a closer look at the details. You can see the lion is stepping on the deer. So what is the symbol of the deer? So it is the symbol of the local residents of Bamiyan. The lion is very interesting, isn't it?
有一边是没有东西的，有一边呢是有这个环状的物品。其实这个代表的并不是说有一边的眼睛没有修复，而是
You can see the eyes of the lion. One is broken and one is complete. It seems that the lion is keeping one eye shut every 24 hours. So it means the lion is keeping watch on the local residents. Now we're in a garden with a whole collection of antiquities. This is another piece. We were told by the museum workers that these are true, genuine collections of antiquities. They are genuine products. It's like what we have back home at China in Shanxi Museum. So, could you tell us more about the museum and why is the museum so important and has such a wide range of collections? Actually, before we started this live stream, we learned that this museum was reopened on October 28th, and the interior part is not open to the outsiders. So you can make a wild guess. Now we are scanning the Weibo account users. You can talk to us on Weibo accounts. So inside the museum, before it closed, the museum has 5 sections to represent 4 stages of history, including a modern art collection and a prehistoric collection, and also a Byzantine and ancient Syrian state. Now only the ancient collections are open to the audience. And now this is an outdoor area of collection. So why are these arty pieces put outdoors? Are they not as important as those collections inside the museum? Maybe. The lion we met just now is not a genuine product. Now we are approaching the gate of the museum.
这个门口上面大家看到的这个城堡是什么东西？它
This is the very gate of the National Museum of Damascus. It's like a castle. It's not a sculpture. But when you get closer, you can find many details are missing. No sculptures. Actually, it's transported from Umayyad dynasty, about 80 kilometers away from Damascus. So this gate was transported here in its original form.
1950年开始，
但实际上在1919年，大马士革博物馆在当年
It's around 1950.
已经开始了。我们可以走进去看一下这个，看一下这。
And then it was still not under the French rule.
对对对。
So it's the front facade of the museum.
一个非常重要的文物古迹。如果大家可以仔细的看的话，这个当中其实有的部分是没有任何花纹的，那些部分其实就是
This gate is very important
但是
art piece
旁边这些有花纹的这些
because many details have been already
完
destroyed.
整的切割的这个方式呢，把它给运过来的。所以说呢，现在其实
这个工程其实非常的浩大，
这个工程非常浩大，而且
好像是
And for the details you can see, actually the gate and the whole piece is transported from another place here. In 1936, during the Second World War, it's quite difficult to make such a state-of-art antiquity and during that period. So let's get inside. So the foreign museums don't have too many glasses or ropes to fence off the audience, not like in China. Sorry, we cannot speak too loud here. So please be careful not touch the artifacts.
绝对不会使用闪光灯这些拍摄设备的。
And no flash photos is allowed because you will destroy the artifacts.
我们目前只开放了，
Well, this museum is really large.
没错。
Only this part is only one of the five parts is open to the world.
非常悠久历史，就像咱们之前所提到了。
I learned that Syria is an Arab state, and it has a long history,
现当代的这个艺术品，所以说他们
around 11,000 years of history. So it has a very splendid culture and time-honored history.
需要把票给拿出来。Do we need ticket here?
OK。
实际上我们呢是从这边开始，那么待会儿呢我们可以看到有很多这样的古迹，像这个大家看到这个第一个展。
So let's get started from here. Now you are seeing the first collection in the Hellenic age from 300 BC to 64 BC. 64 BC. You may find it strange to see the Hellenic connections in Syria because it's a Hellenic collection. This is a pottery. It's very particular Hellenic style. It could be found mostly in Greece and Cyprus and other Mediterranean countries. Sorry, we will try to keep our voices low because it's working day in the museum. Now you can get a closer look. Very delicate collections. This is a bronzeware. Let's look at the potteries.
说实话，因为在中东地区，如果说大家去过很多博物馆，包括埃及的博物馆，包括阿布扎比卢浮宫。
Honestly speaking, if you have visited many museums in Mediterranean states, like that in Turkey,
叙利亚的这个国家博物馆是非常棒的，但是呢，因为我们都知道现在叙利亚其实仍然是处于危机之中的。那像是
you will find this museum of Syria, very good museum.
把这个里面最精彩的一些部分呢分享给大家。我们现在呢来看
Although,
非常重要的
so because Syria is not as safe place in the world, so maybe the tourists cannot come here. So we like to show you the best collection today.
因为在战前的时候呢，
This is a tomb
是个国家博物馆，他们
coffin.
一个整个房间，把整个这个墓室呢，
Before the war period,
现在呢其实这个
the museum
东西呢仍然是保存在叙利亚是非常小的
showed a whole collection of the coffin in one single room. So it's quite a mysterious place.
是棺椁，是不是？
对棺椁呢把它放到这里，大家可以
You can see the details of the sculptures.
一些棺木，然后你们就可以看到整个历史文化的一个。
There are many more collections like this, like this kind of coffins later on.
就是你们猜一猜，咱们这个叙利亚的这个国家博物馆，对。
Just now we asked a question
30多万
for the online viewers.
就是这些宝物，它们到底放在哪里？
Here we have over 300,000 collections.
一个小小的思考题，这么多文物应该藏
So
对，其实这个
where were these collections put
但是很奇怪的是没有人说。
in the war period?
然后我们会揭晓这个谜底的答案，因为
Maybe everyone knows the answer but refuse to tell us.
这个东西就在那儿，它
When the museum was reopened,
知道，我说很正常啊，这个很明显啊，这个是一个
I said actually the whole collection of relics are in their original place. And my Damascus friend find it very strange that I knew the fact.
阿拉伯这个风格的。
对，大家可以看一下，就是我们让会这个阿拉
Well, this is a female statue.
周轩
It's of the
这个上面写的
Arabian style.
发掘的。
这个是
So, Mr. Zhu, could you help us read the scriptures?
从苏维达，
从苏维达
It was discovered in
这个是一个
the 3rd century AD in Suida.
胜利女神，
这个也，但是大家可以
So it's a statue of a goddess.
应该很熟悉，对不对？
这个是来您来给我们介绍一下，因为
因为之前
So let's see more what there is to offer.
就是这个好像是在哪个国家，它是也是有这个女神的。这个
Dear online viewers, maybe
那个双臂，
you are aware of a similar artifact in another country
那么
对，咱们你知不知
who
道
lost its wing
为什么那个断臂的维纳斯
and its head.
让人着迷，就是因为她的双臂是
残缺的美，
对对对
残缺的美，对。
It's
这也是一样的。
like the Venus without her
再来看一下
arms.
我们现在稍微走快一点，在这个区域啊。然后其实这边还有好多什么玻璃制品之类的，大家可以看一下。
We need to work a bit faster.
从这边绕过去，因为那边也不太通。好，我们接着往这边走。其实大家可以看到这一边的这些东西，就是非常的。
Let's keep walking.
罗马化，对，还得 let's go。
Very Hellenic style.
包括我们可以看到这些非常柯林斯柱形之类的这种明显罗马时期的一些这个。
This also the
柯林
Collins
斯柱嘛，
Collins style columns.
我们接着往前走，其实可以看到更多东西。但是我们其实呢，今天的重点因为比较多啊，像是这个时期罗马化的一些比较大的这些东西呢。
Today we have many collections to see, so we need to walk faster.
让大家再欣赏一下。
We may have to skip this part. I'd like to give you 1 minute to have a close look.
现在已经有网友在跟我们互动了啊，他们说有的是在这个地下埋在地下，有的说是埋在卢浮宫。
I have seen the comments from the online viewers. They said that the collections were buried underground or in Louvre.
我们接着往这边看。
So today in 5:30, we will review the answers to the viewers.
其实有6处，包括我们提到的巴尔米拉，包括大马士革古城。
So according to the theologies, there are many artifacts that reveal the theologies.
但是我们等会呢都会向大家一一揭晓，对不对？
And many people asked why does the head of the statue disappear?
挖掘的时候，当时盗墓有的时
Where is it?
他就把头就已经给它砍掉了，有的时候是挖。
So when many artifacts were excavated, many heads
有的这个
were lost
真的是在战争
or destroyed.
极端组织或者一些蓄意破坏而导致这个头。
So this is one reason. Another reason is that many heads of the sculptures were destroyed in wartime.
在叙利亚呢，其实有好多，我刚才提到有好多这个文化遗址。
没错没错没错。
然后呢，一共有6个，像是现在大家看到这些呢。
There are many cultural heritages in
这都不
Syria.
世界遗产。所以说，你看叙利亚的这个。
These parts are not included in the World Cultural Heritage
要
list.
跟大家提醒的一点是，这些文物
But this is really a rich
真
collection.
的是非常的繁多
5。个展厅只开了1个展厅。
This is only a small part of the whole collection of this museum. You know, today we open only one part of the museum.
是来自于戈兰高地和一个叫 Horan。
这个是在什么位置？大概
这个
是在叙利亚。
也是在南边，就是它跟戈兰高地差不多，就是在。
Many of the black stones, supporting stones you see today in the museum are from Golan Highland and the
很
Koran.
好玩的是呢，待会儿我们呢还可以带大家一起去看一个哪吒像。
So even the stones are treasures.
对，各位网友，待会儿可以评判一下这个像不像。
And later you will get to see one Chinese figure in theology.
这个
The name is 哪吒.
一个这个军人的这种就是他的裤子，当时雕的，你看雕的非常的细致。
And this is a military man.
这就是盔甲嘛，它其实雕出来
The sculpture is very delicate. And this is his armor.
好，我们接着往这边走。现在呢，这个 Dura Europus 这个地方呢，叫杜拉欧洲，这个其实呢是在叙利亚的东部地区。
刚才那个又有网友
Now we're at the collection of Dura Europus in the east side of Syria.
历史年代怎么样呢？
对，就像我们刚才提到的一样，是从公元前
So how old are
一
they?
直到拜占庭时期，大概是公元
Around 300 BC to the Byzantine time.
对，但是他们这个
In the 5th century, so altogether it spans over 800 years.
刚才提到的这个 Dura Europus 这个地方呢，是在戴尔佐尔。
And the collections are shown actually not according to time, but according to the
现在这
sites.
个地方我们都知道，在那边叙利亚民主军、叙利亚
Is this crowned as the Pompeii in the east? Yes.
其实从某种程度上来讲，这个地方其实到现在为止仍然
And now the gunfire is still on
混乱的地区，所以说在这个
in Syria.
抢救文物的工作呢也是
也会非
非常的
常的困难。
So the country is still very much in a
刚才
chaos.
提到一个，
It's very hard to preserve these cultural relics. Just now we mentioned the Chinese theological figure Nacha the Great.
We would like to take a special look at this photo, this picture. Yes. 你们看到了什么？
像不像？
是不是拿了一个乾坤圈？
乾坤圈，
踩了一个
小的风火
What
轮
did you see? Is it like?
这个其实很好玩，这
Isn't it like the Nacha the Great
狩猎女神的一个这个在
stepping on a fire
你
wheel
可以从这个壁画里面，它
and holding another wheel in his hand?
1世纪到2世纪的罗马时期的
So
一幅画，但是你想想那段时期中国这
it's around from 1 century AD to 2 century AD.
当时我第一眼看到这幅画的时候，
We don't know for sure,
呢实际上就想到了
还是挺惊讶的。
对，你
but when I first see
应该
this,
是东汉的时期，对不对？应该是那么哪吒的故事，
I
我们知道是
I
商代末
think
年
of
王伐纣那个
Nacha the
是不是
Great.
是有一定的关联性，也未可。
So Nacha the Great comes from the late Shang Dynasty in China.
在这儿，这幅壁画呢，其实就是当地人的一个也不算是生活的画，因为我们可以看到
This is another wall painting
祭司，然后中间这两个呢是
depicting the life of the local residents.
也是在这儿进行。
It's about a local wedding.
比较淡的这个影子的这个地方呢，实际上是
And with people offering their best wishes.
那边的地区呢完整搬过来的。如果大家仔细
And
看这个
also
画上有一些那个横的竖的这个条，
the gods,
其实是这幅画当时被切割了之后
priests
重新在这儿拼起来的。对，
You can find some lines, vertical lines and horizontal lines because in the painting because it was cut
这个
into pieces
其实
before.
就是掉漆的问题了，很多时候。
哦，就是掉漆。
对
So
因为
why
其实我们在
can't we
28号
find
当时
any
第一天开馆
mouths
收到这里的
or
时候
eyes
他们
on
的工作
these
人员甚至都不太愿意
faces
打开上面这个
because
对，因为这个灯其实
paint
对于这个
has
文物呢是有一定的
faded
破坏的。
away.
好，那么接下来呢，我们刚才看过了这么多壁画啊
And you
雕
can
塑
see the
接下
light
来是
is
叫马赛克
destroying the painting.
因为我们知道，如果说大家了解希腊文化，特别是在地中海，
And you will see another
它实际
artifact
上是
made of
对马赛
mosaic
克这种东西
material.
是非常的这个
It's very popular in the
说
Mediterranean
这
Sea
个，哎，咱们这
countries.
个博物馆这么大，它镇馆之宝又是有哪些呢？
哎呀，很遗憾的是，它的镇馆之宝
但是
现在还没有
Someone asked me
展览出
what
来
is the
就我刚才提到的
biggest
像
treasure in this
那个
museum.
罗马亚王朝的
Well, it does have a biggest treasure, but it's not open yet.
整个那个 chamber 以整个房间
的这个
把它完全复原回来
复原回来对
包括刚才我们看到那个来自巴尔米拉的木种，对不起，其实它
As
原来是
I told you,
整个
the
这个
best
墓室全部
treasure in this museum was
你刚才这个棺椁对不对？
reserved in a very large room, which is
一个就是
secluded from other collections,
家里
but we cannot see it
最
now.
后也是在这边。
对，但是我 Gary
It said they produced the earliest
其实说实话，那
alphabetic
个字母表真的是这儿的镇馆之宝。
镇馆之宝，
table in the world.
其实没有
我们暂时还是没有机会看到它。
不过大家可以上网搜一下，就是叫乌
So the biggest treasure in this museum is
在大马
alphabet.
士革说是人类历史上
历史上第一个字母表，
对
It's called
你看这边有很多这个马赛
Garrigues
克
alphabet.
像
The
像这一幅马赛克呀
the very
根据我们
first
其实那个当时
one
看到的时候
alphabet
他们
in the
这个博物
world.
馆里面的人员他们就说
So
这个
this
马赛克
is
实际
this
上
piece
是在
is made of
叙
mosaic.
利亚危机时期挪过来的，这个不是这个在原来是没有的，因为其实我们知道在叙利亚还有很多其他的博物馆，但是在那些博物馆
It's transported here in the war period of Syria.
这个条件什么的，其实
都不如这个在首都这么的好。
对，所以说他们就直接转移到这儿来了。好，现在是24，我们说了啊，6分钟之后我们那个会公布这个
Its original place does not have as good reservation conditions as here, so it was brought to the National
大
Museum.
家可以看为什么说它很希腊罗马？如果你仔细看这个上面的这个人像旁
So
边，
this is another
标注这个人是谁。
painting made of
完了之后
mosaic
是那种希腊字母
material.
就是叫什么希腊那个叫什么字母来着？哎不是。
We can find the letters also on this painting.
暴露了，你看一进博物
The
馆就暴露了
Greek
我们这个知
paintings,
识不够
the
的知识的
Greek
问题
letters.
深刻检讨，深刻检讨。好，那其实呢
Sorry, we are not
在叙利亚这个大马士革
experts,
博物馆当中呢
so we can't tell you the
最重要
details of
最
this
重要的一
painting.
个这个展示，实际上呢，并不是这些，因为这些呢，从某种程度上来讲，它确实是在叙利亚各地发现的，但是在
So
叙利
what
亚
is the most
文物最丰富的
important
地方
collection
当时
in
巴尔
this
米拉就是
Museum of
在我们
Damascus?
马上要进到巴尔米拉
这个区
这个区
域
域之前呢，我首先想
Actually,
大概介绍一下
Barmila is the most richest place of the cultural collections in Syria. You know, this place is also one stop of the Silk Road. But later on, due to other reasons, this place, the importance of this place as a commercial site decreased. So this place is in the middle of Roman culture and a Persian culture, somewhere in the middle. They used to have a queen, so Zenobia queen. So whenever people talk about their old dynasty, they refer to this queen. But after the war broke out in Syria, this place was destroyed. I believe it was in 2015, the Al-Qaeda attacked this area and destroyed the statues and the museum. And later on, we'll get to see some of the collections. In 2016 and 2017, for 2 times, the Syrian government counterattacked the Al-Qaeda. This has led to the destruction of many of the cultural relics in Syria. It's really sad. What is special about the Middle East is that you can get to see many of you will have less opportunities to see the cultural relics because they will be destroyed due to war. So where is Palmyra? It used to be a very important hub for commercial trade in the Silk Road, but later the hub moved to the north. It's really interesting about Palmyra. If you only see the bottom part of this statue, you can find they have so much in common with the Greek statues and the Roman statues. But look at the head. You can see the hat and the decorations. The decorations and the hat are different from that in the Roman and the Greek style. And this statue was moved from the Palmyra Museum. The statue lost its head during the war. So in 2016, we visited the Palmyra Museum. And many statues like these were being restored. There is an online viewer asking me whether the treasures were buried in the basement of Louvre. But I cannot tell you the answer now. There are 2 minutes to go. So you can see many statues were beheaded. But I'm not sure whether the Al-Qaeda took off the head or not.
iPad 放到那个头的上面那个其实是当时巴尔米拉的一个也是墓种的，因为他们这边非常注重人在来生之后他的一个他的
And just now the statues where I used an iPad to show off is actually discovered in coffin for a sacrifice purpose. So they are very delicate collections. So you will find something common between the coffins we see in the beginning of this live stream with the statue. Now it's time to review the answer to the question I raised to the online viewers. So where are the treasures? Actually, they were all buried in the basement of the central bank of Syria, only 2 kilometers away from here. So the basement of the central bank is very safe. That's why they moved the cultural relics there. 大马士革周边的这个局势在逐渐的好转。你像今年4月份的时候，那个东古塔被叙利亚政府完全。As the situation in the Damascus and the surrounding area improved, this museum was reopened recently. Could you tell us something about your experience in Yarmouk? Well, Yarmouk was home to many refugees from Palestine. And after 50 years of development, we can no longer call the refugees refugees because they have rebuilt the communities. And since 2011, due to the attack of Al Qaeda and anti-government forces, now all buildings are destroyed. You cannot find a complete building in that area. And 40% of the cultural relics need to be reserved. Another 40% were badly destroyed and need very hard restoration. And now only less than 100 people can be found in that area because the area is lacking water and electricity. So the restoration takes huge efforts. We wonder whether the refugees can return to their homeland and whether the restoration can be done. So this is textiles in Pamilan. I wonder how the staff restored the textiles. How do they move the textile pieces to this paper? It said that they copied a similar pattern and moved the pieces here. So they restored the textile products based on their imagination. Well, these are also statues found on the coffins. But these are females. And this statue is an integration of Eastern and Western civilizations. Now let's take a look at the bottom part of the body. Is the garment similar to what we have in China, what we have found in the Luoyang Longmen grotto? It's a pity that only a small part of this museum is open to the audience.
刚才我们看的罗马和希腊时期的那些青铜器
Now we're entering the collections of the Byzantine period. Do you still remember the bronzeware in the ancient Roman period?
刚才也有
It's
热心
even more delicate.
网友非常的积极，今天他们提了2个要求。第一个要求呢是说，他刚才说他并不是说那个。
I received another question.
还有一尊就藏在就是放在这个法国卢浮宫，对不对？可能是刚才我们也没有理解。
对，我们刚才看到那个回复，但是
They said that not the treasures were buried in the Louvre. They said the statue of victory is put in Louvre.
再来一遍，好不好？
So that's a correction.
因为其实我们现在基本上已经快要结束了。
Sorry, it's a misunderstanding on our side.
那么这个也是一个棺椁，对不对？
对，棺椁。
It's another coffin.
小制品。
这个也是这边的都是烛台，你看。We'll go to the Duras Europas part again. Our viewers really like that very Chinese painting.
Yeah.
其实我们刚才提到在叙利亚的一个
Just now is the candle holder.
这个世界遗产，但是其实它的损毁是非常严。这个阿弗林行动的时候，这个报道说有很多这个土耳其的空军方面呢，实际上是在。
现在这个信号可能是又出了一点小小的状况，是不是？我们稍微。
You know, the Turkish air bombed
就是他们那个土耳其的空军
the cultural relics
很多这个文物呢
sites, so many of them were destroyed.
去看哪吒
咱们
的路上。
稍微走快一点，因为这边的信号可能是有点不太稳定。咱们这个满足一下刚才那位网友的那个需求啊。
我们顺便再来看一下这个巴尔米拉的这个棺椁。
Sorry, the signal is not that stable, so we need to walk a little bit faster.
有网友说这个展览条件一般，好多都没灯。对。
An online viewer complained that the conditions in the museum are quite moderate. Many exhibits are now displayed. Yes, we may think of better solution to better preserve the cultural relics. The lights cannot be fully open because they may harm the exhibits.
有5个展示。从某种程度上来讲，如果说能够看到这么样子的一些瑰宝，
其实真的是，
比如说像我这种特别
爱好者、博物馆爱好者来说，
去博物馆的人来讲，我觉得那也无所谓啊，真的，我觉得哪怕是说让叙利亚的局势开始好转，大家一起把这些文物保护起来，包括这个联合国
文化遗产，对不对？
世界遗产，其实到现在为止有2个我们都现在都还没有办法去到，而且
all world cultural heritage.
这个非常古村落的群。
Another place full of cultural collections is called Idlib, but we cannot make it to that place now because it's still under the gunfire. Although we are eager to seek world peace, the war still sustains and is still destroying the artifacts in the world. We hope there could be less and less war in the world, that this place could be restored to its original form. And thank you very much for your time.
对，没错，这个网友也有非常专业的网友，他们说只看见了这个古希腊、古罗马时期的这个展品，没有看见这个欧马亚王朝，包括这个亚述帝国。
And online viewers said today we only see the collections of the ancient Roman and ancient Greek period, not the Arabian Empire state period, because that part of collection are not open it. If they are all open to the visitors, I'm afraid this live stream will take 5 hours to finish. So we hope that these reserved parts can be open to the outsiders soon. So we also hope you can visit here in person and see for yourself. So dear online viewers, thank you for your time and for your questions.
But yeah, I just want to say bye bye.
Bye bye. See you next time.
Okay, 谢谢，再见。
谢谢各位，再见。今天直播到此。
So this is the very end of today's live stream. Thank you for your time.